They're happy there's plenty of beds, there's plenty of room for children to sleep. That's how the breeding process works. And as you guys can see right there, we have ourselves a baby villager. Welcome back, everyone. My name is Echo. I hope you're having an absolutely fantastic day. Today in this Minecraft video, I'm going to be teaching you how to breed villages in Minecraft 1.14, the Village and Pillage update. Now, I'm doing this on PC, but today's method works for all versions of Minecraft, that being PC, iOS, Android, Windows 10, Xbox, Nintendo Switch, and even PlayStation 4, because the mechanics are all the same. Now, if you do enjoy today's video and you do learn something new, please take the time to hit that like button. In the Village and Pillage update, breeding villages has changed, but don't worry, it's changed for the better, because the previous method with villages, it was all done with doors, which takes up a lot of resources, and it's simplified. Now villages require beds and not so much doors. We will get into this because I've done a complete replica of this over there, but for the latest versions of Minecraft. So let's start from the beginning, because you could literally class this as a house in a village. So if you built a bunch of these in a village over there, then they would be classed as a house in the older version, which means that it was one Minecraft villager to one door. Now you don't need this method. It's gone, it's changed, and it's a lot better. So obviously we start with the basics. The basics would be to splash potion. You then give him an apple. Then the whole process starts where this village is now going to be starting to turn into an ordinary village. Now, I don't recommend doing what I've done today, and that is building the villager breeder next to a village. And I will explain to you why when we go over there. If you are going to be building your own villager breeder, if this is your village, build it over there. Build it away from the village, because things start to get complicated. So, of course, if we had ourselves villages, these are the ones that I've caught, I've captured. These guys, of course, would start to do a bunch of breeding. Now, these are nitwits. So these guys won't do any form of trading at this moment. And this is simply because these guys are classed as a non-working villager. And that is because villages now require a workstation, such as the composter. They need blast furnace, smoker, barrels. There's a whole list of them. We'll get into that more in a different video. I just want to start with the whole breeding. So this is pretty much useless. And if you've been playing Minecraft for a long time and you have your own world and you've built this, basically it's useless. But you can transform it. If you built this one, you could obviously take down the doors and start implementing some beds. So let's get into the actual tutorial on what you need to know in order to make this possible. So at this moment, I don't have any crops in here. It's an exact replica of what you've already seen. Apart from, I built this one a bit closer to the village, which I don't recommend, and I'll explain why. But villages are now determined with a bed and a workstation. So I actually don't even need the workstation right now. If we grab ourselves a village, and I do /time set nighttime, this villager should register this as their bed, so they will sleep. Now, in certain versions of Minecraft, I don't know why I didn't do it on this one, what will happen is green particles will pop up. So if we get rid of this one, hopefully it'll work with this one. Hopefully he's now registering this one as his bed. Yep, no green particles though. Anyway, /time set day. Sorry, dude, you're here for a test. Now, he doesn't have any profession, so if I try to right-click him and do some trading, he's like, no, we're not doing any trading at this moment. The reason why I don't recommend doing this near a village is for a couple of reasons. If you build a villager breeder, the villagers can actually register workstations from really far away. Now, on Bedrock version, iOS, Android, Windows 10, Xbox, and Switch, we tested this in a live stream. So if I was to dig all the way down to Bedrock, and I was to place down a workstation, that workstation was a composter, then the villager up here can still register onto that actual item down below. Now, I think that might be a bug, and that's due to be fixed because, of course, they shouldn't be registering on things down here. But if they're above ground, there's a villager in here, they can still register on specific workstations. For example, there is one over here. Now, granted that having the composter is a good thing because that equals the farmer villagers. They're really cheap to trade with, like this guy over here. He is a farmer villager. They usually want crops, and you can usually sell them back their crops, like 26 potatoes for 1 emerald, 18 beetroots for the emeralds, etc. It's always a good trade. For me as a Minecraft player, I've always traded with farmers and always dealt with deals with the librarians. So let's get into this and how it works. So again, they are registered onto beds. So the more beds you have, the more breeding that can happen. So for example, we have 2 villages inside of here. There's 2 beds. They won't do any form of breeding. Why? Because there's not an extra bed, there's not an extra space. It's like going to a hotel. You don't really stay in a hotel if there's no room, do you? And we've just healed ourselves a zombie villager. It's the same with villages. If there's not enough beds, there's no place to stay, which means there's going to be no form of breeding. Now, before we do get into the breeding process, there's a couple of things that you want to know in terms of the foods to breed villagers. For example, you need to give villagers at least 3 bread, 12 carrots, 12 potatoes, or beetroots. If you're a Minecraft player, you're more than likely just going to throw all of these. And I usually throw seeds as well. I usually just throw them a bunch of seeds. But you need to give them at least this many, okay? 3 bread, at least 3 bread, at least 12 carrots, at least 12 potatoes, and at least 12 beetroots. So for this tutorial in particular, we are not going to be planting down any crops. The reason why is because we really don't need to. If we get ourselves some farmer villagers, they'll plant them down anyway. Now, I want these villages to be farmer villages. Now, farmer villages are determined by the composter. Now, you can place these on top of here. It will register the villager. So if we place down 1 and 2, they should both eventually turn into the farmer villages that we're after. And as you guys can see, they did it straight away. So it's really, really simple to do. Now, we're going to start placing down a couple of beds. So there's 1 and 2. So that one is registered to that one. That one's registered to that one. But we're also going to start placing down a couple more. And obviously, the main reason for doing this is because we want these villages to multiply. We don't just want 2 villages, we want multiple villages. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We're going to keep placing the rest of these down. So this is what it looks like. I think it still looks okay. I mean, it's not amazing. I mean, it's not exactly even. If you wanted to, you could do that. I'm just doing this for a simple tutorial, simple guide. Now begins the process of trying to get these guys to breed. So they want, as you guys can see, as soon as you bring out an item that they want, they're going to come to you. They're going to pop out an emerald and be like, I want to trade. Now, what we're going to do is I'm just going to go 3 on the floor, which one of them will eventually pick up. Well, that was me. 1, 2, 3. He should pick those up. Come on, buddy. I know you want them. No? Go on. Over here. Let's try it here. There you go. Pick them up. There you go. Pick the other one up. There you go. He picked it up. And then this guy, we're going to throw these to him. Or maybe he wants potatoes. He wants one or the other. There you go. So these guys should start to perform something that we like to call a mother's meeting. And then that's how the children just appear. But these guys are now interacting with each other. And this is how the breeding process begins. Because they're happy. They're happy there's plenty of beds. There's plenty of room for children to sleep. That's how the breeding process works. And as you guys can see right there, we have ourselves a baby villager. Which, of course, is the whole reason that we're doing this. And they will continue to multiply and duplicate, and they'll start throwing some bread at this little child now because they're happy. So maybe we should throw this on the floor as well. To be honest, guys, you can throw more things on the floor. You don't have to throw just a certain amount. Now, you're probably thinking, well, we're only going to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. We're only going to have, like, so many villages. Maybe you wanted more. I believe you can actually do this, which is obviously placing these on top. They will sleep on them. They will register. And you can keep going up and up and up and up. Now, you got to be really careful as well, because you're going to end up with a lot of villages by doing this. And the good thing is that if you are wanting farmer villages, you are more than likely going to have to place down a couple of composters. And to do this, you can also put these next to the beds. So let's just, come on, dude. I don't want to hit you, because I don't want a bad reputation with this village, because I kind of like this village. Maybe he's claiming that as his bed. But you can determine the workstations by putting these down. Now, the reason why I'm doing this is we'll put down a bunch of these, but we'll also put down a couple other things. So maybe we grab ourselves a blast furnace. We put down these as well. 1, 2, 3, 4. Because maybe these are the only villages that you want to have. Then you just keep placing these ones down. And we grab ourselves a couple of villages in here. Some of them will register to the blast furnace, as you can see here. It's all determined by workstations, but we will get into that in more detail in a separate video. I'm just hoping that you learned something new on how this works. The breeding will continue to work. I'm just going to throw more of these on the floor. And to be honest with you, I'm going to start throwing all of these on the floor as well. Someone will pick them up. Breeding, the process will work. But guys, I hope you have learned something new. He picked it all up, so he's ready to do a bunch of breeding But with this one, I don't think it can get out. They're a lot smarter villagers now. They're not quite super smart, but they are still smart. But if you have any questions, feel free to leave it in the comment section. I'll do my best to try and answer your questions, but it really is that simple. In simple form, you need a workstation if you want farmer villages, you need a composter, and even simpler, you're simply switching out your doors for beds. So have a great day, stay beautiful, and I'll catch you next time. Bye!